A show based on the facts, honesty, the man, the myth, the legend, Constitutionalist Joseph M. Leonard.
Welcome to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Leonard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. Really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show!
Hello, everyone. First, my apologies if I've gotten you confused by my confusion about what season of constitutionalist politics is this exactly. Well, it's season 3. Why am I confused and may have got you confused? I think I said season 3 would begin in July. Well, no. And I just thought of this the other day, got my mind wrapped around it and straightened myself out. I began the show in the month of June a couple years ago. So season 1 started up in the month of June. So a new season, since I'm not going to do calendar years, I could have cheated and said season 3 of Constitutionalist Politics began in January of this year. But no, I plan on doing Saturday monologues. So a season would be 52 episodes, right? Well, I didn't start the first Saturday in June, so that first season really should have been less than 52 episodes, and season 2 would have been 52, and so on and so on and so on. So I got myself confused and started saying, well, July would start a new well, no, not really. June. So June 2025 is the beginning of season 3 of Constitutionalist Politics. So this is season 3, episode 105 of the usually Saturday monologues, but I'm throwing that out the window today anyway, as you know I can sometimes do, and not do a monologue. Today, another weird one. I'm actually, and I've got notes here, behind the scenes sneak peek video. You could see me doing the Rush Limbaugh thing in my formerly nicotine stained hands, ruffling the papers. So I was not a smoker, so my fingers aren't formerly nicotine stained. At any rate, putting that aside, I am going to air part of a Savaged Unfiltered show. As most of you know, I co-host Savaged Unfiltered, not all the time, but a lot of times, along with sometimes Meow Man, as I call him, Bob Lament, longtime radio personality, sometimes co-hosts, Soslan Timason, rare that we see him anymore, but he used to co-host, and some other occasional guest co-hosts on, but I've been the regular co-host for a lot of the episodes over the last 2-3 years of Savaged Unfiltered. At any rate, TMI, right? You don't need to know that. What am I getting at? Do you know the name Chrisley? There was a reality show called Chrisley Knows Best. Who is Todd and Julie Chrisley? Well, if you didn't know the name, and maybe still don't know the name, before Trump pardoned them, and that's what this is going to be about, Chrisley Knows Best was their show. So the Savaged Unfiltered Show name is Chrisley's No Pardons. Huh? Get the play there, right? Because Trump pardoned them on their tax evasion sentence, conviction. At any rate, we'll get into that. But if you didn't know the name before now, you're not alone. I'm not a big reality TV person. Reality TV to me is watching a sporting event. That's actual reality TV, although, not to get into the conspiracy of, these sports are scripted and they pick who's going to be the champion for the season. And putting all that aside, sports are the reality TV I watch. So at any rate, if you've not heard of the Chrisleys before now, you're not alone. I didn't either. I had no idea who Todd and Julie Chrisley were until Trump pardoned them. And even when Michael, a.k.a. Savage, said, hey, we're going to do a show about the Chrisleys, I was like, who? Who are they? And you'll see in the episode, I was like flying blind for part of it as Michael explained what was going on for me to react to it. But this is important because there are some aspects of things, the weaponization of our institutions, our governmental departments, like Lois Lerner during Obama years, targeting conservatives. I truly believe the Chrisleys were probably targeted. Now, they may have been guilty of tax evasion. I don't know all the facts, and they were convicted. Their accountant, they may have hired, like Wesley Snipes got bad advice and claimed sovereign citizen. Look how well that worked for him, and not paying taxes, went to jail. Look at Nicolas Cage, which I go into the show. His accountants underpaid his taxes. To avoid jail, he had to agree to pay back taxes, right? So sometimes people you hire don't serve you well, but your name's at the bottom of the taxes. The bottom line is you're responsible for the taxes. And if you can't, under audit with your accountant, argue before a jury that indeed you don't owe those taxes, you got to pay them. You're the one that will go to jail, not your accountant. So political targeting is why I feel this episode is in part to share. I'll only share part of it. To see the whole thing, go to savagedunfiltered.com or my YouTube channel, J. Leonard Detroit YouTube. I don't have it on my other channels, but I did put the Savaged Unfiltered Season 6, Episode 660 of Savaged Unfiltered, Chrisley's No Pardons, on my YouTube channel. You could see it there also. So without further ado, let's get into the snippet of the show.
Welcome back to a podcast not like the rest, where we deliver nothing but savaged and uncut content.
Where did I go?
From a Lifestyle studio in Tampa, brings a show so raw and uncut, we mean
No filter on Savaged Unfiltered. Savaged. I'm Michael Gardner, the host, otherwise known as Savaged here. And yeah, Joe, I got my phone, buddy. The other one, I'm letting Shaky's son borrow the other one, so it's okay.
Regarding the camera, no, zoom out. We don't want a close-up. The closer people get to look at you, the worse you look. You look better from further away.
I'll take my zoom in, Mr. DeVille. I'm ready to go, so.
Yeah, what movie was that? I'm ready for my close-up.
Mr. DeVille.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, you are Gardner, not Gardener.
No.
Do you have a green thumb? Can you garden?
Sometimes. Sometimes. I
Or
allow my daughter to
plants
do
at
it.
your house. Okay. She handles the plants or you kill them. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. I like that scene from that 90s show with Red Foreman, excuse me. He's like, look what happened in our garden today. And Kitty's like, show me the harvest. And he shows him the harvest. He shows his wife the harvest, and it's this tiny little tomato. And she's like, great, I'm going to slice it up and put it on some burgers. You can't slice up this damn tomato, Joe. Yeah. So anyway, at any rate, like I'm going to steal from Joe, we want to talk about today, guys, the latest pardons coming out of President Trump.
Whoa, wait, what?
What?
Oh, so Trump pardoned someone? I thought we were going to talk about Loretta Lynn's I Beg Your Pardon. I Never Promised You a Rose Garden song.
No. She never.
I misread the memo.
No, you misread a lot, Joe. No. I didn't get that joke. Of course, guys, Joe played it.
Old
puns.
country song, Loretta Lynn, yeah.
It is. But no. Todd and Julie Chrisley, the latest on the list of pardons from President Trump, has been released from prison. Yeah.
I got to admit right up front, I don't know a damn thing about these people. So
no. I mean, well, Joe, no. they are well-known reality TV stars. You know,
apparently, I'm not a reality TV person, but yeah, apparently a lot of people know them, but I don't know any of the facts of why they landed up heaved to the Huska.
Hey, when you're in the right moment, man, it happens like magic. You know, like you could be a well-known person like that. I mean, look at Nicole Palizzi, right? The Snooki of MTV's Jersey Shore. She was a nobody until MTV, discovered her.
Oh, the same. Yeah, The Situation and all of them. I never watched that dumb show. I didn't. I didn't get it, you know.
Joe's a lot like, of people like
it.
Can't stand
yeah. Well,
dumb shit.
Young people watching other young people do stupid stuff and party. Okay, no, I'm sorry, old fogey. I don't get it. I have zero desire to see stupid shit like that. But hey, you know, if it floats your boat, if it's your cup of tea, knock yourself out.
I watched one season actually of, a couple seasons and episodes of the Jersey Shore, and it was okay. It was okay. I mean, it portrayed like the typical environment of clubbing and bar hopping on the Jersey Shore.
Something is new and original, I guess I could get people tuning in that first season. Like, okay, this is different. Let's see what it's about. But to watch season after season, it's the bread and circus thing. People are lazy. They don't want to deal in important stuff. Politicians fucking them over on a daily basis. No, I just want to watch mindless TV 24/7 and let them fuck me over. Oh, well, okay, it's your life.
Joe, it seems like your life has been fucked over by bearing with this type of shit. Huh?
Well, I'm definitely Raging Joe today, right?
Yeah. We haven't seen comical from Joe in like some time now.
Jokester Joe appeared earlier with the Rose Garden joke that you didn't get. So
I know. 747 went right over the head. Didn't even stop for pleasures.
Older country music fans got it. The younger people like, who the hell is Loretta Lynn?
So let's talk a little bit. Let's dive into this show, guys. If you're not well aware of the Chrisleys, both Todd and Julie, both husband and wife, literally have been in prison for quite some time. And they were in prison, if I have correctly, Joe, with my notations, in prison for tax
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes, yeah. They supposedly were convicted in 2022 of fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy to defraud the United States.
Now, a lot of people,
obviously, right from the IRS.
You said they're a reality show team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they probably, with reality shows, they tend to pay pretty good. They probably came into some money, didn't know what they were doing. They may have hired a shady accountant to deal with their bookwork and their money and their taxes. And, you're the one that signs on the bottom line on the taxes. The accountant isn't on the hook. You are.
Yeah. Well, according to their, the attorney there, Alex Little, he had also said that he supplied President Trump with a binder filled with court documents and testimonies to convince him to release the couple. But I mean, obviously, President Trump in his own nature, seen the documents, obviously looked at the set of evidence and thought that it was necessary to basically set the pardon for the couple.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my question, Joe, would be like, you just mentioned like shady people, right? Shady tax accountants, probably people that were handling, obviously their show, the production, all that stuff. So, I mean, you can't blame
I don't know how much of it's their fault for not. But again, you don't pay attention. You don't keep up with it. Again, the bottom line is you're the one on the hook. And ask Wesley Snipes how well that sovereign citizen shit goes over.
Oh, God.
You got to pay your taxes or you go to jail.
You do.
Just ask Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes even said that in the latest Expendables movie with Stallone. He's like, what are you in for? He's like, tax evasion. He said his own charge.
Right. They made a joke out of it. Right. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't blame Julie and Todd Chrisley, even though all the outlets out there, including NBC News, MSNBC, they're calling them disgraced reality TV star. How they disgrace? Come on.
Again,
you don't know the whole inside stuff.
Yeah, bottom line, though, is still your name goes on the taxes. You can bring in the tax accountant if you get audited to try and justify, but if you didn't read your return before you sign it and say, yeah, I approve all this stuff, you are on the hook. So, yeah, how much fault they bear or not, I don't really know.
Well, according to the article that I read this morning on NBC News, they literally put that header on there: disgraced reality TV stars of Todd and Julie Chrisley convicted in a scheme to swindle banks out of tens of millions of dollars, literally walked free from prison yesterday, Wednesday morning, after we're pardoned by President Trump.
Did they? I don't know. This reporter might be right. But you know what I also suspect, since they're Trump supporters, is they were targeted.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It is a myth that terrorism stopped during COVID. Unfortunately, mainstream media opted to prioritize pandemic hysteria over promoting all news. Terrorism continues. Simply hoping that it doesn't affect you is not a strategy. The new book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you, featured on The Author Show, is now available in paperback from bookstores, online, or as an ebook exclusively through Amazon Kindle. Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you by Joseph M. Leonard. Order today.
Well, obviously, these natives of Nashville, which the law firm came out of Lidson PLLC that actually handled this case, is saying that the Trumps of the South, I love that little header, by the way.
Yeah, again, that makes my point. If these people were liberal cackling the Kamalunist supporters, probably no charges, just nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Because they're Trump supporters, they maybe even fabricated additional charges like they did with Trump and the tax,
it's a high
whole
possibility.
Situation. The same thing Secretions James is likely going to go to jail for. She trumped up
without a
against
doubt.
Trump.
Without a doubt. I mean, you talk about like rageful heat and anger against the president with her.
But Secretion James signed papers saying her father was her husband. Her
brother was her husband, I think. Was it the brother?
No,
or was
her
it
father. Her father in that case. Right? It's Ilhan Omar who married the brother. But now once could be a mistake in paperwork and you just overlook it. Twice, then it's suspicious. 3 different cases where she lied and claimed a primary residence that's not in New York, but claimed to be then a New York resident when she ran for office. So once a mistake, twice get suspicious, 3 times, 3 strikes, you're out. You're a liar, you're a fake, you're a fraud. I don't need to see more evidence.
Well, Joe, check this video out. This is actually the daughter of Julie and Todd Chrisley that is actually speaking out, and if I may, a very large Trump and MAGA supporter, guys. Check this video.
I am absolutely freaking out. I was walking into Sam's Club today and I get a text that says, "Do you have a minute?" And I'm like, "Yes." And like, I just felt in my soul that something was going on. Something was different. Something was wrong. And
she's
I answer the
not
phone
horrible to look at.
I get a text that says, "All right, we're calling from the office line." I'm like, "Okay." And I answer the phone and they said, "Hi, the president would like to speak with you." And I literally, my whole body went numb. I am freaking out. Like, the president of the United States of America wants to speak with me. Donald J. Trump, freaking out. I start sweating profusely all over, literally. And I answer the phone and it's the president. And I'm freaking out. I just immediately started crying. I'm sitting in my car, bawling my eyes out. Grayson actually has a video of it. And I didn't know what to say. All I could say was thank you. And if anyone knows what we were going through, it was the president. The president was...
Yeah, let me stop it right there. I mean, first of all, before you go there, Joe, I understand you guys are, well known now, popular here in the United States because of this incident. But, sweetie, get rid of the duct tape that's on your microphone there on your jacket. You see the duct tape, Joe? She's got duct tape, man. The duct tape.
And she's supposedly a reality TV star.
Hey, Joe, she was probably looking for something like to improv something last minute. I get it, But
to my point earlier, Nicolas Cage is another classic example. Got himself into IRS trouble because shady accountants, he signed off on it. And he got charged with tax evasion. He settled out of court to not go to jail. And, that's why now he does virtually any script that comes his way. He says in part because he really loves acting. And the other reason is he still owes millions of dollars in back taxes.
Yeah, he does. He holds a lot, Joe, of back taxes. I mean, that's another one. I mean, but like, let's play fair here. I don't want to be too biased and show two forms of favorability to one set of actors and reality TV shows. But like these people, like what the hell's wrong with them? They're going crazy. Like they're going mad,
And again, if you're on the right, and especially if you're rah Trump all the time out there with the MAGA hats and the MAGA shirts, you know damn well you're going to be a target, dumbass.
Yeah.
Make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed.
Yeah. Well, like, look at what more she's saying here. I mean, she's ecstatic that her parents are, free from prison. Obviously, the charges were not heavy enough to stick, but this is more of what she has to say, guys. Check more of this out. It's pretty fascinating.
When he's making a decision, he looks at the case and he looks at the facts of the matter, and sees injustices or doesn't, and then makes his decision. And I am forever grateful for the decisions that he has made. And I'm still on cloud nine, trying to get all my thoughts together, trying to figure out when
really
I need to go pick up
wasn't
my
Trump.
parents. I want to say that the fight doesn't stop now.
Trump signed the pardon, unlike Biden in the auto pen. Trump appointed a black woman as well as some other attorney that he was going to, Ed Martin, that was going to appoint to something else. Him and her are the pardon czars who go through review all the potential pardon cases and then send them to Trump. Trump then makes a final decision, but he takes their word. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
You got the bubble stuck up there, Joe. You can't.
Yeah, it was a black woman who he pardoned in the past for something. Because she was saying, I'd love to be involved because other people deserve pardons also. So him and I think it was Ed Martin are the pardon czars.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
They're constantly reviewing. So,
yeah. I mean, they're right on the track. But here's something that we could say about the Chrisleys, right? The TV show guys, Chrisley know best. Obviously, they know best because the pardons worked out great for them, So
they should. Okay, jokester Joe here going to chime in. Chrisley, it sounds like Nestle. They should come up with their own chocolate milk. Or water. Nestle.
Well, they got to be careful with that, Joe. Copyrights. Right? Copyright infringement. They got to be careful. Chrisley, Hershey, right? I mean, it does. Kind of
Nestle,
Nestle, yeah. It's got the L at the L-E-Y.
The Lee, right? Yeah, that's right.
But listen to this. After Alex Little, the attorney for the Chrisleys, said in an interview that he did not know why Trump chose to pardon his clients this week, but as part of his pitch, Little also went into saying he supplied Trump's pardon for the pardon czar, right? Alex Johnson, which is the pardon czar of the department, with a binder full of those court documents.
Yeah.
And it also states this, Joe, that President Trump also feels focused on the issue of criminal justice because he has been a focus of investigations that were directed at him.
Well, we know what wasn't a factor.
Yeah.
Quid pro quos, unlike President Autopen Biden, who staffers were lining their pockets selling pardons that they then auto-penned in. Spare me that didn't happen. That's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Well, it will take a few years to iron out.
Well, Joe,
that evidence is there.
Joe, remember everything we discussed here earlier in the program, right? With Trump being that target, right? I mean, obviously, he was a convicted felon who was found guilty last year by a New York City jury of 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover up his hush money. Payments to Stormy Daniels. So we're not getting
legal.
It is legal. It is legal, but we're not getting the end of it. We're not getting the end of it.
Remember John Edwards? Remember Bill Clinton? All paid mistresses hush money out of campaign funds.
Yeah.
So just spare me. Yeah. Thank you for having tuned in for Constitutionalist Politics Season 3, Episode 105, airing June the 21st, 2025. As I said at the top of the show, clearing up my season folly and confusion. But I wanted to at least give you a snippet of it. To see the full Savaged Unfiltered Chrisley Knows Pardons episode, season 6, episode 60, go to my YouTube channel or to savagedunfiltered.com, see the catalog, see that whole show. I didn't want to air the whole hour and balloon this episode. But thank you for tuning in. I hope you understand why I felt it was important for political targeting and weaponization of offices. And they may have been guilty of tax evasion, but there's some gray area. You take bad advice. At the end of the day, you're still the one responsible for the taxes that you owe. Whether someone gives you bad advice, oh, no, you don't owe them. We're going to, right? The wealthy all have tax attorneys that shelter a lot of their income, but they can afford to pay a team of attorneys if audited. That's why usually it's the poor and the middle class. Those 87,000 IRS agents that were hired by the Democrats weren't to audit rich people, because the rich people can afford teams of attorneys to wiggle out of things and squeeze every penny of tax deduction they can get. You and I can't hire thousands and, spend tens of thousands of dollars on attorneys to avoid paying a few $1,000s in taxes. So when they audit us, they target us because they know we'll have to knuckle under. We either pay $2,500 more in taxes or pay $10,000 to an attorney. Well, it's more economically viable, even though I don't really owe the taxes, to just say, okay, I'll pay, or I'll pay $1,500 as a settlement, right? At any rate, that's why I felt it important, and I should have said this before the episode, to air part of that episode again. SavageDarmy.com, Savaged Unfiltered on Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can find season 6, episode 650, Christie's Knows Pardons, play off their reality show, apparently, which was Chrisley Knows Best. I'd never seen the show. I'd never heard of them before. It's not really about them, why I talk to you about them today. I just explained why this relates to us average people. We could be targeted like they were. At any rate, thank you all for tuning in. Take care. God bless.
Thank you for having tuned in for Constitutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help.
Wham Radio, 1600 AM and 92.7 FM is your conservative flamethrower. Weekdays, Steve Gruber starts things off at 6 a.m. Gruber gives his perspective on the issues of the day. At 9 a.m., Glenn Beck blazes the airwaves with his nationally syndicated program. From noon to 3, it's Dennis Prager. At 3 o'clock, it's Wham's own Thayrone X. On the Edge, Thayrone tells it exactly as he sees it. At 6, it's The Dana Show, your conservative alternative. At 8, don't miss Joe Pags. Weekends are filled with conservative talk as well. Fingers Malloy, Thomas LeDuc, The Abolitionists Roundtable, A Moment of Clarity with Pastor Rick, Your American Heritage with Ed Bondarenka, Dave Janda's Operation Freedom, and Dick Kupke's Trigger Talk. You can even get links to Wham podcasts from Dave, Dick, and of course Thayrone, all from their pages on our website, whamradio.com. Keep it locked on Wham Radio, 1600 AM and 92.7 FM in southeastern Michigan, and whamradio.com anywhere in the world.